Audi Performance Desk at MetLife Stadium. Welcome to Pregame Central, presented by the United States Virgin Islands. Visit the U.S. Virgin Islands, where you will fall naturally in rhythm.
Got a good one to end the football weekend. It is the Jets and the Chargers. Monday Night Football. We're out here, as always, inside the tailgate zone. Eric Allen, Anthony Beck, Quincy Anunwa, Wayne Corbett in the house as well.
They never clap for me like that.
Number 80. Wayne, what have your thoughts been about the New York Jets through 7 games, the Cardiac Kids?
It's exciting, man. If you would have said we were going to be 4-3 at this point, we'd be excited. But 4-3, losing your quarterback, is great. So I think where we need to be at this point to make a run at the playoffs.
AB, another opportunity for the Jets tonight. We're watching Aaron Rodgers on the field. We're going to talk about his recovery, but the Jets have played very well against elite quarterbacks so far this season here in their building. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Tonight, it's Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're talking about an elite secondary he's got to go against, a pass rush that's got a lot of depth, and quite frankly, maybe the best linebacker core in the league.
Yes, yeah.
That's a lot to handle. So he's missing some weapons. He's going to go to Keenan Allen, and he's going to go to Eckler. We know that. So what's the plan to take that away and disrupt him? So you're right. Yeah, they've done an excellent job against those top-tier quarterbacks, and it's going to continue tonight regardless. I mean, they got an opportunity, like Wayne just said. You're right there. You're on the cusp of being tied for first place in your division. I mean, what else could you ask for? After everything that's happened the first couple weeks of the season, you're standing in a really good situation right now if you're looking at the Jets.
Speaking of being right there, there's Aaron Rodgers talking to, I believe that is Troy Aikman, the former Dallas Cowboys quarterback who's in the house tonight. Quincy, what do you think of Rodgers' recovery that we continue to keep an eye on each week as he goes on Pat McAfee and then comes out here at MetLife and throws pregame? Today he walked into the building.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about prior to the season, everybody really wanted Aaron Rodgers out there. So I think him kind of keeping that presence on the field is important for everybody, the fan base. I mean, it was depressing. A lot of people had some tough times when Aaron Rodgers went down, right? So to still be able to see him and him showing us that he's making the progressions to possibly come back this year, I mean, even if he doesn't, just the hope is enough for the team and the fan base.
Wayne, what do you make of him just being out here, his presence, and what that can do for the locker room?
Yeah, like you said, the hope. When he first came out and said, maybe I can make it back end of the year, I was like, maybe we shouldn't give fans that hope.
Yeah.
But, to see him doing this, no crutches, this and that, and just him being there in Zach's ear and confidence in the team, offense and defense, he's doing what we brought him in to do, to be a leader, even though he's not out there.
AB, critical part of the rehab. He talked about, hey, listen, he's been out of the boot here, so he's ahead of schedule. He knows there's a lot of hurdles to climb before he actually can make the impossible possible.
I'm not a doctor. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. The only thing I can say, look, I mean, all he can do is trust what his doctors are saying. Everything he's doing is nobody's done it, right?
Yeah.
No one's really said exactly the techniques and the things that he's doing. The fact that he walked to the game and not on a cart, that's great. I mean, listen, Wayne knows injuries in the game. Quincy knows the injuries. I know about Achilles. They're not easy to come back from. No. But you know what? Listen, if he's got a timeline and he's within the threshold and it still gives him a chance if they were to make the playoffs, let's see what happens. But you're right. Just being in the building is huge. I mean, look, the kid's smiling. Yeah. He's having a good time. They're winning some football games. And quite frankly, he is protecting the football. And he came up big at the end of the game in some really inclement conditions in that football game. So let's get behind him. Let's see what he's got. He's got a chance, man, to get 2 games above 500, which would be a lot of teams would wish they were that in the league.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, this has been a great weekend for the New York Jets. Sunday, the Buffalo Bills lost. The Miami Dolphins lost. The New England Patriots lost. So the Jets have an opportunity for a 4th consecutive win here. And they could push their record to 5-3 after 8 games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was in the parking lot, and a couple fans were talking to me about it. I think everybody's excited about the opportunity the Jets have tonight. They can get this win. It'll be a great boost. We talked about last week coming out of a bye. They hadn't done well coming out of a bye, and they got the win. So they can get another win to top that off. I mean, it just shows the improvements of Robert Saleh's team as a whole. We talk about continuously improving, and that's what this team is trying to do.
Wayne, let's talk about where you think the Jets are at offensively. Zach Wilson's won his last 3 consecutive starts. He's making that start again tonight against a Chargers defense that is last in the National Football League against the pass.
For weeks there, the MVPs were Greg the Leg and Morstead changing the field. But now it's possible to score points. Listen, if he could play, error-free football, move the ball, change the field, get some points, that's all that defense needs. And you look at it, who's been beat. Who in the AFC can't be beat?
Right. Yeah.
Home or away. There's really nobody there.
Yeah.
We've beat some good teams. We beat this team tonight. We put them behind us. We got the tiebreaker on us, whatever. But, they go with Zach. But with that defense, it enables him to play conservative, make plays when he needs to, and that's what he's done the last couple of weeks.
AB, should it give him a lot of confidence the way the game ended last week against the New York Giants? Because, listen, the Jets hardly had a pulse there at the end, but they figured out a way to win.
Well, you look at the plays that he was successful on that drive. They opened it up. They gave him some time to get the ball down the field. Listen, we talk about being conservative. I love it. I would say, listen, let's not coddle the kid. This is 3rd year. Let him expand every week. Breece Hall's got to get 20 touches a game, regardless. Touches and passes. And I think the tight end's got to get involved. We got a lot of money invested in these guys, right? Like,
of course, you want the tight ends.
We don't have a master slot guy like Wayne, but we've got tight ends that can really work it. Conklin can run routes. Like, who is a better friend to the quarterback than the tight ends? And then, bam, you start working those guys. Yeah. Now you're getting what you want instead of force-feeding it to Garrett, who makes the plays regardless. Yeah. But it makes it a lot easier for him in those situations.
Definitely. And listen, we have to look at each week on a case-by-case basis, right? We talked about last week. It was a tough game to throw. I think this week, you think about these guys as a whole. I know they're hungry. They want to make some plays this week. The whole entire team, especially the receivers, right? Because you talk about the trade deadline came, and there was some talks that they would bring in some other guys. So now that's something for the receivers to say, look, there was a possibility I could have got demoted. So let me come out here and really prove myself today. So I think as a whole, the offense is really hungry. They want to make up for last week. It wasn't a great showing, and I think it's going to be a good show this week.
Yeah, like I said, that trust is there. Receiver to quarterback, like Garrett Wilson, he's special. Yeah. He's given him a chance to make plays, but like I said, take the training wheels off. The way Hackett has them getting into more of a hurry up, speed up, no huddle, but just that has gotten Zach into a rhythm. I think what they're doing in the second half, maybe start that earlier in the first half to get him in the groove. But, yeah, the trust is there that wasn't there. And when he goes in the huddle later in the game, he doesn't have, like, deer in headlights look. It's more of, like, he's talking to guys, and they're like, lead us. What do we need to do? And that's so important for an offense in a game.
Quincy mentioned the trade deadline before. That came and went last Tuesday. The only move the Jets made was the previous week, sending McCole Hardman back to the Chiefs. What kind of message does that send inside the locker room that Joe Douglas didn't go out and make a deal?
I mean, listen, the guys that were clearly available, I don't know what those price tags look like, how those trades could have worked out. I don't know how deep the trade pool was. Clearly, you got some weaknesses on your team. The offensive line in general, those pieces, can you really take an upgrade? I really think that's where you can upgrade. I don't know who's giving away linemen. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, you just can't find them. So they got a ton of guys that they've been working within their system. Just trust they're going to get better every week. That's the best you can do, sometimes. But listen, they got guys moving around. It's tough now for a running back, and it's tough for a quarterback to have that trust. The one thing I'll say about this guy, Breece Hall, is he understands what it should look like up front. He knows how to read holes. He knows how it's blocked up. Yeah. Very similar to Curtis Martin. He has that understanding of the run game. Remember, 800 carries coming out of college. That's all he knows is run. And when you can tell, when he gets to the second level, he's a different dude. So, to me, I don't think it matters for him because he'll find it. But he has a good understanding of that and really can upgrade the run game.
Wayne, 3 consecutive games with the touchdown for Breece Hall. And we saw last week, you just got to get the ball in his hands. A little 5-yard dump pass over the middle. 45 yards later, he's celebrating in the end zone.
Listen, like people say, dude, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the middle of the field with all that traffic and you could get to the sideline and pull away from people, like that's special. Think about that. They got him and Garrett Wilson in the same draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arguably the number 1 and 2 for Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. And they got to feed this guy. Once they took the training wheels off and took away his pitch count, they got to find ways to give him the ball. I mean, I'm really impressed with him.
Speaking of impressive, Jets fans have been great throughout the year, especially here with the night games. What do you think the environment is going to be like tonight as the Jets look to push that record to 5-3 after being here for the Buffalo Bills game week 1? And how about the Kansas City Chiefs game in week 4?
That's exactly what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
With the fans, what they did with the lights and everything. Yeah. This is awesome. This is what you want. Yeah. Meaningful football this time of year going into December. It's crazy. These fans enjoy it, and I think we're in for a big win tonight.
Yeah. Good stuff. That is Wayne Corbett. Thank you so much for joining us. In just a moment, we're going to be joined by Leger Douzable up here. And we're going to get inside the stadium for game day. Storylines coming up. Fans, you can participate in Pregame Central presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands. Right now, Breece Hall will score a touchdown in his 4th consecutive game. A vote right now. We will get your answer here shortly. Let's go inside the Stadium Bowl right now. We're going to bring in Caroline Heinerschott, Ethan Greenberg. What's the weather like inside? I got space heaters up here at the desk.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, you guys have it easy out there. We don't have any heaters. It's chilly. I'm cold. Ethan's cold. So it's a chilly November night.
It's a crisp fall air here inside MetLife Stadium, but we're making do, We're doing all right.
All right. I think Anthony Beck actually had a question for you, Ball.
Caroline, I see you got did you borrow Kurt Warner's last year's Monday Night Football jag? I like it.
Here's the thing. Ethan has already called me an astronaut a multiple amount of times, so I don't want to hear it from you, AB.
Hey, he's there on the field somewhere, so you got to go say hi to him.
I'll thank him for the jacket.
I really like the jacket. We'll get to that here in a second. Ethan, let's talk about the Jets' offensive line. Continue to be shuffle up front here. What's the latest?
Well, from left to right, let's just go through it. You would imagine Mekhi Becton would remain at left tackle because Dwayne Brown returned to practice earlier this week, opening up his 21-day practice window. He was declared out in Saturday's injury report, so he will not play tonight against the Chargers. Then Laken Tomlinson at left guard, you'd imagine he'd still be in that spot. He popped up on the injury report a couple days ago with a hamstring injury. Then he was left off of the final injury report. So you'd imagine that he's a full go. Then at center, Joe Tippmann also off the injury report. He was dealing with a quad injury last week. He did not play. So you'd imagine from left to right, Mekhi Becton, Laken Tomlinson, and then Joe Tippmann. Then right guard and right tackle, to me, is where you get some question marks. Billy Turner in the mix. He played right guard in a pinch last week. He's played right guard in his career. Max Mitchell played at right tackle last week. So you'd imagine that either one or both of those guys would fill out the right side. Now, Xavier Newman is back up from the practice squad to the active roster for this week's game against the Chargers. And remember, he played right guard, and then he played center after 10 snaps at guard, a position he has not played until last week. So between Turner, Mitchell, and Xavier Newman, I think that's really what you're looking at on the right side of the offensive line, EA.
Well, that was a great report from Ethan Greenberg. I think we lost him just there at the end. We will get to Caroline Heinerschott momentarily. You are watching Pregame Central, presented by the U.S. Virgin Islands. Eric Allen, Anthony Beck, Quincy Anunwa. We are now joined by actor Skylar Astin. Skylar, thank you so much for joining us. What's it like being a Jets fan now out in L.A.?
I mean, I got to hold it down for my New York brethren. They at least know that we got heart. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of friends that are LA is kind of a melting pot. So some of my friends are NFC East guys. So Jets. Yeah, I bleed green and white, so they know.
Hey, we wanted to ask you, since you are stationed out there in L.A., have you had the opportunity to see Aaron Rodgers out there? Because he's got the place in Malibu.
I wish. He won't return any of my calls.
Oh, I don't like that.
Disappointing. No, I mean, it's a dream to meet him. I think there's a chance I might go to the field in a little bit. Hopefully,
Nice.
I'll give him some words of wisdom or something, teach him a little thing or two.
I saw his brother was actually in Pitch Perfect
He
2.
was, that's right.
Yeah.
Jordan wasn't. I mean, when he was on the Packers, we couldn't get Aaron Rodgers in Pitch Perfect 2, so we got his brother, who looked very similar. And at that time, Clay Matthews was on the team. And so they were, Bakhtiari, exactly. So they were.
I didn't get that call, Q. Did you get that call?
Oh, no, that was Packers.
If I was producing that movie, it'd be all Jets.
Yeah, man.
Skyler, what can you tell us about So Help Me Todd?
Well, so help me, Todd. I play a former private investigator, stripped of his licenses, and then I have to go to work for my high-powered attorney mother, played by Marcia Gay Harden. So it's a funny kind of like mother-son duo fighting crime on CBS every week.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Season 2, right?
Season 2 is coming out in 2024, early 2024.
All right, we're looking forward to that.
Thank you.
What's the difference for you approaching Broadway
Yeah.
and maybe doing the movie scene?
I think they kind of work hand in hand for me. The fact that I've done all of it now, it kind of one informs the other. So I couldn't part with either. Like every time I do a theater piece, it really prepares me for TV and film and vice versa. And it's similar to like being in a live atmosphere like sports. It's just you can't mess up. If you get a wrong play, like you can't do it over. Right. And that's why I love theater. But then it's nice to kind of translate all that technique into TV and film and be able to kind of hone that too.
What's the reaction when you're walking around MetLife Stadium tonight? Do people bring up Pitch Perfect 2? Is that the first thing they start with?
Yeah, it's already happened a couple times.
Okay.
I'm very grateful. I'll never bite the hand that's fed me so well. I love the movie. The movies, I would do them all over again if I could. So I'm very proud of it.
What was your reaction? You are a true Jets fan, though. Mm-hmm. What was your reaction when you knew it was going to happen, that Aaron Rodgers was coming to New York?
I mean, I was absolutely thrilled. I still can't wait to see him play. I have such faith in this team, this organization, this specific team they got going on right now. The fact that we're 4-3, we're still making it happen. There's still a chance for the playoffs. Still even a chance that Aaron Rodgers might even like debut this season. We'll see. We're keeping hope alive, but I just think it's great even that, within the team, the dynamic that he's still like, coaching these younger players, that he's here. I mean, he's literally on TV right now. Wears the headset, dropping back, throwing passes. It's good to see as a fan, and I'm sure the guys love it as well.
Who were your favorite Jets growing up?
Except for all of you, of course. I was a big, and of course Wayne Corbett. Curtis Martin was one of my guys. Yeah. That was like my era. The Testaverdes of the world.
Solid players.
Yeah.
We got to get a prediction
tonight.
Yeah.
Jets all the way. I'm giving it. I don't know. I'm trying to think like a score. It's going to be a weird score. I know that. It's going to be like there's going to be a 12 somewhere. But I'm going to let's just go like 17-10 Jets.
Okay. All right, 17-10 Jets. That is Skylar Aston. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
A lot of fun. Let's go back inside the bowl right now. Bring in the aforementioned Caroline Hendershot. Caroline, we got a great crowd out here inside the tailgate zone for Pregame Central. But how was the crowd yesterday for Caroline Hendershot, who participated in the New York City Marathon?
Let me tell you, EA, New York was putting on their own show yesterday. The crowds were electric. Brooklyn was my favorite part of the marathon, but it was a really special day yesterday, so I had a blast.
And she crushed it, AB, less than 4 hours.
Wow. Ooh, that's impressive.
Quincy, what's been your longest run to date?
4 miles. I'm getting up there, especially
couple years, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'll be there. I might run it next year just because you asked.
All right, I love that. Caroline,
I was trying to steal one of those orange ponchos. Did you get an extra one, Caroline?
No, AB. And after the comment of my jacket, you're definitely not getting mine.
Oh no! Stick with the alien jacket. I like that a lot.
All right, so Ethan discussed the Jets' offensive line. How about the Jets' defensive line, Caroline? Because this team is doing some juggling there because Al Woods went to injured reserve this week.
Yeah, you're seeing him right here. I talked to Quentin Jefferson earlier this week, and he spoke about the loss of Al Woods. He was saying not only is Al Woods a menacing force on the field, but that presence and that wisdom in the locker room is going to be a big loss for the Jets, having Al Woods gone out with an Achilles injury. But Robert Saleh this week actually said that it's Quentin Jefferson who's flown under the radar. He brings that veteran voice for the younger guys in the locker room, and that's a huge value add in the locker room. So when I was talking to Jefferson about this matchup, he said, as far as this game's concerned, the Chargers have a really explosive and dynamic offense. They just have to disrupt Herbert. That is their main goal. Of course, as always, that O-line has only allowed 15 sacks, so the Jets D-line is going to have to bring their A-game today.
They are going to have to bring their A-game, no doubt about that, against Justin Herbert and the L.A. Chargers. Are you the ultimate Jets fan? Nominate yourself or someone you know for the chance to be a member of the 2023 Fan Hall of Fame class presented by Ticketmaster. Submit your nomination by November 7th at nyjets.com/Fan Hall of Fame. Terms to apply. Great scene here in the tailgate zone. Eric Allen, Anthony Beck, Quincy Anunwa, and Leger Douzable. Deuce.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Deuce, what jumps out to you about this matchup, the Jets hosting the L.A. Chargers?
Yeah, I think the thing you have to look at is you look at this Jets defense. It's been a stingy defense all year long. They give up less than 185 pass yards per game, but they have been susceptible to the running back screen. Chargers have one of the best running backs coming out of the backfield in Austin Eckler. So that's the matchup I want to see tonight. Yeah. Quincy Williams has been playing at an all-pro level. Him versus Eckler, that's going to be must-see TV tonight.
Yeah. Hey, you just listen to that and you're jumping out. I thought you were going to take something.
I think he watches a lot of film. No, I mean, listen, they're him, and he's going to get the ball to Keenan Allen. Yeah. Bottom line. Now, Quentin,
Jefferson.
Johnson.
Their receiver.
Johnson. They'll try and get him involved. Yep. I just don't know if he's ready to be that dude yet. Right. Yeah, but you can't sleep on him. But I wanted to ask you just about, there's been such a frequency of different O-line combinations, right? And it's a tough deal. But now it's to the point where they're in a danger zone. How good can they continue to be with today's lineup that we're expecting to see and moving forward with the rest of the season? Can it hang on?
Well, you know this more than anything being on the offensive side of the ball. It's about continuity and gelling, right? And offensive line play, you got to be on that same string. And it's hard to do that when you talked about the certain injuries the Jets' offensive line has sustained, right? You lose Connor McGovern last week. You lose Wes Schweister. The good thing is you get Joe Tippmann most likely back tonight. Now, the question is, will he play center or will he play guard? There's been rumors that Max Mitchell has taken some guard reps. I saw him at the Senior Bowl a few years ago. I actually think that's his best suited area is to be in the guard position because he's protected on each side. We know Billy Turner's been a guy that's been able to be a swing guy. So it'll be interesting to see how Nathaniel Hackett and Robert Saleh pour that offensive line. But to your point, it's tough when you haven't been able to get the reps together to be on that same string. So you got to just hope that since everybody's gotten so many reps, and even though Xavier Newman was new, I mean, kudos to what he did last week. Yeah. I mean, a guy that was on practice squad had never taken a center rep, to have the presence of mind at the end of that game to look to the side, also have the ref touch the ball, because if he snaps that early, it's an illegal snap and the Jets lose the game. So you would think another week with him being in the offense, he'd be more comfortable. We'll see if he slides out the guard, if he's the swing guy, just in case somebody gets hurt. But at the end of the day, it comes down to protection. We saw Zach Wilson get hit too often last week, 4 sacks, pressured multiple times. And it sucks because, again, when you have so many guys moving in and out of the lineup, it's hard to get that continuity.
That's interesting. So you think that Max Mitchell might be a better fit at guard?
I honestly do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just watching him at Louisiana Lafayette and seeing how he moved at the Senior Bowl, talking to other scouts and talent evaluators, we think he could be a guard that really gets after it in the run game. And that's the thing about Max Mitchell. He's a really good run blocker. The thing is, Quincy, when you're at tackle, sometimes you're on that island.
Yeah.
But when you're at guard, sometimes you have that protection on the outside and the inside. So I think Max Mitchell could be a really good guard. Again, there has been rumors that he was taking some reps potentially inside this week.
All right, I got to get reactions from you guys right now because we just got the game day inactives for the New York Jets. Israel Bonaconda, the rookie running back from Pitt. Randall Cobb, the veteran wide receiver. Jason Brownlee, Dennis Kelly, Chaz Surratt, Carl Lawson, Jarek Bernard Converse, JBC. What are your thoughts?
Interesting, right? Kelly's been here for, about 3 weeks now, EA? He's a guy that's been in the system, been with this head coach before. So I thought maybe he would be a guy that potentially could be active because, there's nothing like having experience, right? That guy has a lot of experience. So it's interesting that he's still inactive, which would mean Xavier Newber is obviously active. We'll see again.
Practice squad elevation on Saturday,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So we'll see what the lineup is. But I thought it's interesting, especially with with Rodgers Saffold being signed late last week. I thought Kelly would finally, 2-3 weeks in the system, would be active this week. So that's an interesting thing to see him inactive.
If Tippmann does indeed get the start at center, it will be his first start at center in the National Football League.
Yeah, and the thing is at center, that was the question coming into it. A lot of people were saying, we don't know if Aaron Rodgers would trust a rookie at center, right? Because there's a lot of communication that has to happen between the quarterback and the center if that happens. But we've seen Tippmann go in there and play high-level football at guard. And we saw during training camp him play high-level football at center. So I think he kind of instilled that confidence in the staff if they need to put him at center because, your other choice is putting Xavier Newman there again, and he's only had one game or even 3 quarters at center. So right. I think Tippmann being at center makes the most sense, right? Because I think Max Mitchell can be a good guard at the next level in the NFL right now. And Billy Turner has been a guy that's played a lot of football at guard and tackle. So honestly, I think Tippmann does most likely start at center tonight.
AB, what's the game plan against those pass rushers and Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on the outside?
Can I get a chip? That's
better.
A couple chips.
Listen,
a bag of them.
Let's not be naive and say, well, that's his job. He's got to get it done. That's not how it works in this business. We got plenty of guys that are athletic enough at tight end that can hit them, get in the way, and get into their route. The backs can do the same. Anytime they can get some people there to help out, that's what you do. I know they're really bad against the pass, which is for me, they got to get to the quarterback. Those guys can get it done, man. It's not 2 dudes to mess with.
Yeah.
You got to worry about both of them and find a way to do it. If you got to sacrifice somebody, do it. But make sure there's somebody in front of them so that they don't have that clean get off.
Quincy, we're watching Garrett Wilson warm up right now. He looks ready to roll. Tyler Conklin. Last week, guys, Wilson, 7 catches, 100 tough yards.
Yeah.
How many times do you think he'll be targeted tonight against a secondary that really has been exposed in pass coverage?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the game for Garrett Wilson to really show. You're talking about the bottom-ranked pass defense in all of the NFL. It's an opportunity for Garrett Wilson, Zach Wilson especially, right? For those two to make a great combination, Wilson and Wilson, we want to hear that as many times as possible tonight, right? You got to get out there, and you really got to attack that.
Deuce, what's been happening in that Chargers secondary?
It's been a lot of, miscommunication. Guys have been dropped in coverage, and you would think with Brandon Staley being a defensive-minded coach, that would be the strength of their team, but it hasn't been. The offense has been the strength of their team. We saw them already trade J.C. Jackson away.
Yeah.
That was a high-coveted free agent they brought into that. So, Q, you were talking about, you want to hear that Wilson to Wilson connection. Honestly, I think Garrett Wilson probably gets 15 targets tonight. Yeah. And then the guy that we saw on screen, Tyler Conklin, he has to come alive tonight.
Okay.
If you look at this Chargers defense, right, at their linebacker position, Kenneth Murray, Eric Kendricks, they have struggled in pass coverage. I think Tyler Conklin, you talked about it, AB, a quarterback's best friend is a reliable tight end. And we've seen Tyler Conklin in that Denver game be big for the Jets. He needs to be big tonight.
One thing, and two, I hope Brandon Staley brings that big analytics sheet because whenever he brings it out, he's terrible at making decisions that game. So I'm hoping he's got that big thing out like this. Oh, yeah, we're going for it on the 20-yard line. Because he's made some bad mistakes.
Man.
Definitely. Hey, dudes, real quick, you talked a little bit about Eckler. We've been talking a lot about the defensive side. What can they do? Because I think the Jets not only struggle against a running back that can catch the ball, but also a quarterback that's mobile.
Exactly.
And they have both of those things on this team.
Yeah, so when you look at Justin Herbert, that's one asset of his game that people don't talk about enough, and it's because he doesn't use it enough. Now, he always uses his mobility to buy time to throw the ball down the field. And honestly, there was a game, I can't remember who they were playing 2 weeks ago, where he scrambled like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, if he continues to do that, that offense can be almost unstoppable, because a lot of people think he's just on the move to throw the ball down the field because that's what he does. Well, if you look at the Jets, they've struggled against mobile quarterbacks. So obviously they watch film just like we watch film. The Chargers had to be watching that as well. They've seen Jalen Hurts have success. They saw Tyrod Taylor before he got hurt have success. So I guarantee they're telling Justin Herbert, if nothing's there, take off.
We were just watching Sauce Gardner warm up before. He's looking for that first interception in year 2. Do you anticipate him playing a lot over Keenan Allen tonight?
The thing is that with the Jets, they don't really travel like that because there's so much faith in DJ Reed. And I told you this, EA, when they signed DJ Reed, I said, don't take anything off DJ Reed. He's highly competitive. He feels like he's the best corner on this team, and that's his mindset. It's always been his mindset because he's a little undersized, right? The guy has a crazy vertical, so he can get up and contest some of those passes with big receivers. But the Jets, they're lucky to have 2 really good corners, 2 stalwart corners where they don't necessarily have to travel a guy. Now, Sauce Gardner has talked about that in the past. We talked about it, I think, after the Dallas game with CeeDee Lamb. He would like to travel with the number 1 guy. But I think Robert Saleh and the staff have a lot of faith in both of their corners.
And that's a blessing, honestly, because when you watch some of the Chargers games, they were doubling Keenan Allen, some teams that played them, whereas the Jets don't have to do that. Yeah. They have the blessing of having 3 great corners, guys that are top in the game at all levels, short, intermediate, and deep.
It's interesting because we're watching Aaron Rodgers right now. We thought before the season commenced this would be the matchup between Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert, but unfortunately Rodgers goes down in week 1. Still, the Jets are sitting there 4-3. Deuce, this team can be 5-3, riding a 4-game winning streak before they go to Las Vegas next weekend.
This is a pivotal game, right? Just for, future seeding in the playoffs if the Jets have aspirations to go to the playoffs. Because the thing is, it's going to be gridlock at the end of the year, and the Chargers are in the AFC, so you want to win those AFC games, especially when it comes down to the end of the year, because this is going to be a team that's going to be trying to probably vie for one of those last spots in the playoffs as well. So the Jets have a huge opportunity. Let's not forget, everybody else in the AFC East lost yesterday.
That's right.
So the Jets have a chance to jump the Buffalo Bills and be right there with the Miami Dolphins if they come away with a win.
Yeah, and bottom line, I know we're looking way far ahead, but people are thinking of the Jets, maybe you can be in contention for a wild card. Why set your goals so low? I think the Jets can be right in position to challenge for this division.
Well, now that we're talking long term, let me throw a hypothetical.
Here we go.
Jets are 12-5.
Ooh.
Aaron can play. First round of the playoffs. Who are you rolling with? Zach Wilson, who got you 12 wins? I'm just saying, it's going to come up.
I'm glad you brought that up, AB, because I've actually asked a few people about that. I'm like, this is a tricky scenario, right? Yeah. Because, again, you traded for Aaron Rodgers. He's supposed to be the quarterback this year. But what if you do go 12-5 and the team is hot? Do you rush Aaron Rodgers back, or do you stay with Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
It's a good
It would be a good dilemma, gentlemen.
Very good problem.
It is Aaron Rodgers.
It is, but 12-5,
12-5. Not many quarterbacks do that. Listen, I don't want to have to deal with that, but that's a great point to bring up, And as we talk about that, you look at some of the teams that they have coming up, right?
Yeah.
Atlanta, Miami twice, Cleveland, Las Vegas. Who do you think is going to be one of those teams that might trip them up on that playoff berth?
That team they got next week. I mean, it's one game at a time. You got to take care of business tonight. Yeah. But with Antonio Pierce, the way he's galvanized his team, and ABQ, you know this, whenever there's a coaching change, there's an influx of energy, right? Yeah. That team has a lot of energy. They beat up on a bad Giants team, so they're going to have a lot of confidence in that Sunday night football game. The whole nation's watching versus Jets next week. Again, one game at a time. Take care of business tonight. But that's a game that the Jets should circle on their calendar because that's a team that's going to play with a lot of grit and fight and energy.
Hey, Deuce, we know you're working for CBS, but we're not getting you out of here before a prediction. Who's winning this game tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close, tight-knit game. I have a stat for you, AB. In the fourth quarter of one-score games, Justin Herbert has 13 interceptions since he came into the league in 2020. That's the most in that time.
Wow.
So I think this is going to be a close game, and Justin Herbert may make a mistake in the fourth quarter. Give me the Jets 20-17 at home.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's Negligee Doozable. Great spot. We will see you soon. Salute to Service is one of the NFL's primary causes that acts to honor, empower, and connect our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Each year, the Jets champion this cause by working closely with organizations that support the military, promoting special service members and their family, visiting military bases, and coordinating special events to recognize service branches and their members. This season, tonight, the Jets are highlighting Salute to Service through several activations, recognitions, and events during the game. We appreciate everybody's service here, and it's going to be a great night here at MetLife Stadium. All in or not today, we're going to take a look at the leaderboard. Before there are any comments, Ethan is sitting there with a lead at 6-1. I have a little video that you all should take a look at right now.
Hey, listen, I got a nice basement at the house.
Okay.
Talk about basements all we want.
David, I'm playing into week 2 with that asterisk, guys. I'll take that asterisk from week 1, but I'm going to be all in on this one.
Not only am I all in, I'm going to double down here, guys, and try to get a point, extra half a point.
Oh, here we go.
Exactly. I put you on.
He's always scheming.
And I did say all in, but you know what, guys? This is a straight strategic play, game day move, looking at everything. I got to say, not today. I believe they will, but I am flipping this thing, and I'm trying to get myself a W.
I am all in on this. I'm all in.
And I'm going to go not today. You say 4+. I'm going to say at least for tax, right?
Great job.
Wow.
Great job.
I know whose idea that was. All right, I'm just saying.
Great job. I love that.
Katie Weirdo, great job.
I love it.
A tremendous video for our lovable loser, Anthony Beck.
I love it.
Wow.
Caroline and Ethan, what do you think?
I'm just wondering how that basement's feeling.
Oh, lead from the rear. It is Salute to Service, right?
They don't have basements in Florida, so I don't.
Well, you're the only one who does.
I got nothing to say about the video. I will say I didn't know that Quincy started the year 0-2, and to be at 5-2 now. Oh, okay.
I'm a beast,
a very humble one too.
Hey, listen, don't get game day Q out here, man, because I might be talking a little too much. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, game day Q, I love it. Okay. Tonight's question, Breece Hall will score a touchdown in a 4th consecutive game. Caroline, you just finished the New York City Marathon in under 4 hours. Does Breece Hall score a touchdown in a 4th consecutive game?
I'm going to go all in. I really do believe that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this is going to be, you've seen the trends the last 3 games. I think they like running the ball. They like using Breece Hall. I think it's inevitable, so I'm all in.
Yeah, well, so I was debating back and forth again. Quincy was getting in my mind. He was chirping me in the hallway earlier. Game day Q was in peak form. I am also all in on this, and that's partly because of my fantasy team where there is no money involved. Just want to put that out there. But I think that this is an exciting game. If you're the Chargers, you know that guy on your screen, the Jets want to use him in the pass. They want to use him in the run. But look, Christian McCaffrey scored like 14 straight. Why can't Breece Hall do 4 in a row?
Yep.
He's one of the Jets' best weapons. I am all in on that.
Great stuff. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be talking to you both on Jets Overtime. Quincy, I'm going to skip Anthony right now.
They don't get to hear our answers?
No,
okay.
No.
All right, so listen, I'm going all in. I wish that I would have known what Ethan was going just so I could go opposite. But all in feels right. You know, you're talking about the bottom-ranked pass defense in the league. We're not talking about Breece Hall only scoring a rushing touchdown. We're just talking about him scoring a touchdown in general. And I think that he could do it for a 4th straight game.
I'm also going all in. I think Breece Hall's going to score 2 touchdowns tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I said it. And I want a bonus point if it happens.
I'll give you that.
Anthony,
Well,
you've just taken in a lot.
Listen, obviously you guys are kicking me while I'm down. I could take a punch. I'm from Philly. I can do that. This is a straight strategic play by me.
Oh, here we go.
Straight strategic play. Oh, hell no. I'm a Cyclone for life, baby. I'm all in on this. Of course I'm all in, man. Breece Hall scoring today. If he doesn't score today, we ain't winning this game, period. So I got him scoring. I hope multiple touchdowns. I don't need the extra points, but I'll take them if you want to give them to me.
All right, let's see how the fans voted tonight on Breece Hall. Here we go. We're going to pull that up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
96% say yes.
I'm worried.
The Jets are going for a fourth consecutive win.
6 for 6.
We got kickoff in about an hour and 20 minutes. I've been waiting all day for some Monday Night Football. Great crowd today inside the tailgate zone. Enjoy the game, everybody. Make sure you tune in to Jets Overtime after this one concludes.